Hi, guys. Welcome to a little bit of woo woo. I'm your host, Jill Thomas. It's cold here, you guys. So I am wearing my favorite sweater. You're going to see this again because it is my favorite. My little heart-shaped sweater. I love that. Anyway, I got on the cheap at Target, I think, because I'm so sophisticated, right? As usual, as always, this is delivered for entertainment purposes only. I am not a doctor. I'm not a lawyer, a stock portfolio manager. I'm not any kind of an expert at all. And if I talk about somebody and I say something not nice, just assume that the word allegedly is in front of it. If you need a doctor or a lawyer, you should call one of those. That's what you should do. Don't make major decisions like buy a house based on things that I've said. I'm kind of nobody in this. Use your own intuition. You guys are smart. You guys know stuff. You guys tell me stuff all the time in the comments. I'm like amazed. So go with that. Take what resonates and leave what doesn't. I am right a lot, but sometimes I am just plain wrong, and that's all of us that do this or that. Um, I also wanted to say too, we had a guest on Friday, Bloom Broom Closet. She was amazing. So I was going to do a show on Saturday, but all the things I was going to talk about on Saturday, we had already covered on Friday. So if you haven't seen that episode, it's about 100. It's like about an hour long, which God, we could have gone for like 2 hours because we had a lot in common and we were like chatting and oh yeah, the camera was recording. But highly recommend it. Definitely check it out. Her camera wasn't working, so we didn't do the camera. And I think it worked out okay because I kind of assume that most of you guys listen to these, not actually watch them, but I don't know. Anyway, I thought it was great. I think you should watch it. She's amazing. I'd love to have her on again. We'll see if that works out. So, oh my God, Portland, you guys know I live here, right? Uh, this weekend they had a naked bike event for, in protest. I would say that that's an only in Portland kind of thing. I don't see any other community. Maybe San Francisco doing something like that. Because I got to challenge Chicago. I will say it was like 50 degrees, so I don't know how many people actually got naked, but I thought that was hilarious. So yeah. Interestingly enough, though, I was feeling like it is up to, I think, the Ninth Circuit Court. I do feel like they may push back and let the Trump administration have something. It's been going too long. I've been waiting for a long time for this ruling, and I almost think it's not really going to go in Portland's way initially. I think the district attorney is going to try a different approach, come back, and I think eventually, in the not so distant future, these troops are just not going to be here for very long if they're here at all. But I'm not seeing it be a big deal, and I do feel like it might go in the administration of Trump's administration's way with this ruling. There was a couple little clauses to it. There's an aspect that I do feel like might go their way. So just be aware that we might still be seeing troops in Portland and Chicago and Memphis. Um, but I don't know that it's going to be the level that we thought it would be, and I really don't see anything serious happening. Because it's just largely a calm crowd. It's not a lot of people who want to fight. And let's not give it to them. This when you're dealing with a narcissist, the best approach is to just kind of ignore them. You just want to gray rock them. You want to seem boring. I mean, many of you guys have seen what it's like to deal with a narcissist before, and I'm sorry for that because I know that sucks. But you don't want to give them a lot of attention, and that's what needs to happen here. Okay, there's always a Friday night crazy, you guys. I always say this. Friday afternoon. I'm gonna say this is for entertainment purposes only, allegedly. Okay, I'm not saying this happened. I'm saying if it happened, this is what it would look like. Okay, so if you were to, let's say, get a short position in, let's say, Bitcoin on a Friday just before an announcement were to come through by the Trump administration that they were going to put some crazy amount of tariffs on China, you could make a shit ton of money. And apparently there was an unusual surge of short positions in Bitcoin just before that happened. Then Bitcoin went way down. And then on Monday, the Trump administration tacoed out and got rid of those tariffs again. And then it's almost, I think maybe by now, this is being recorded on October 14th at 10:45 Pacific. I think by now it might actually be up to what it was before. Yeah, there's a lot of speculation about who it was. Please don't put it in the comments. but I'm gonna say, yeah, that's what happened. I feel like that's what happened. I don't feel like it was the only this particular person, but I do feel like, and because I don't put it in the comments because you guys, I don't think the comments are as anonymous as you think they are, so just don't say it. But I do feel like we are going to be seeing in the future politicians getting in trouble for this. So I was seeing further down the road. Now it's not this administration. Um, it's not going to be this administration, but I do feel like later on they're going to be looking at some of these stock transactions and who made a lot of money. And you guys, it's both sides. It's both sides making a lot of money in what we would call insider trading. I don't know that that's what they're calling it, but there's a lot of people making a lot of money based on information that they got because of their positions. Um, and I think that's pretty clear that's happening. I do see that getting prosecuted later. I do see that they know who made these transactions. I do see that they're aware of it. But the impetus isn't there to do anything about it right now. And it will be later. And it does feel like I said, it's both sides. It's kind of like the naughty files. It's both sides that did it. And we're going to be seeing more of that. That to me feels like the next big scandal. So if there's a scandal that's like, I don't know, it's like the pimple that hasn't come to the surface. That's the scandal that I'm talking about. It's going to be coming after Epstein because there's going to be, it feels like leaks. I'm not going to say like is private leaks being, showing who made some of these transactions. That is coming, and that's going to be the next scandal after Epstein. Yes, we're going to be seeing more of this Epstein stuff. I do see a massive disclosure by the end of the year. And I've said this before, but I'll say it again. It doesn't necessarily feel like it's us that delivers this information. It almost feels like a spiteful action from a foreign entity or maybe several, because several foreign governments have these lists. I don't know that there's just actually one list, but it wouldn't take a list to still be very incriminating, allegedly, right? And there's a lot of people on there. And I still say that we're not going to see all of the information, but I'm saying we're going to see a lot of it. Very likely by the end of the year, because that the energy is moving, and the next president, Vance, is like eager to be president. And I do feel like we're going to see him in power before the end of the year or the first part of next year. That's what it feels like to me. I know that our guest on Friday was saying she thought it was going to be sooner. She might be right. As other people are speculating, I'm seeing it a little bit later in the year. It also could be that I'm seeing the inauguration, which might be after the first of the year too. So that's what I'm seeing. Okay, you guys. A lot of the craziness, though, there may be more escalated, weird tariffs, weird military deployments, things that don't make a lot of sense, vitriol coming before the end of the year because it's like the energy is ramping up. They're doing the last of what I would call the crazy stuff is going to be in the next few weeks. So I would say I do feel like there's going to be some kind of big disclosure or surprise thing. When I pulled cards, it was like all surprise cards, right? By the end of the week, it feels like we're going to be seeing something like that. I can't say exactly what, but I am seeing some changes happening on that level. Okay, um, and I do see that in the future, this kind of insider trading is not going to be tolerated as much. It does feel like they're going to be monitoring it more, and it's not going to be just like that. Your husband can make the transaction; it'll be like your cousin can't even make the transaction. So I do feel that coming later, because it does feel like there's a lot of, just a lot of politicians and leaders involved in this one, you guys. Okay, government shutdown. Geez. I honestly thought it was gonna be this week that they would be back, but it's starting to look like it'll be later, next week or the following. But I know both sides are digging in their heels. The Republicans are enjoying being able to cut back on staff. And you guys, as much as I would love to say each one of those people from the CDC that was laid off is gonna come back, I don't see that happening. I do feel like there will just be sort of a small percentage of people that aren't coming back at all. 10, 15, maybe 20% reduction in staff. Some of those people just don't want to. Some of the people that got the notices that they were laid off had plenty of money and just decided to take a job in the private sector for more money and more dignity. And I'm sure that some of the people that I could see that some of the people that were offered to be reinstated, like air quotes reinstated, decided, yeah, And I'm done. I don't need this. This doesn't work for me. And it's unfortunate because we've lost some really intelligent people, but will people be made whole? Most of them will. I'm gonna say, though, not all of them will. As far as what you and I, the individual who doesn't work for the government, is going to be experiencing, a lot of us aren't really gonna see a lot of these things. But I do see I was being shown something interesting, like, later on, there are gonna be some government administrations that some of the states individually are gonna wanna take over. I do see Gavin Newsom particularly pushing to allow the state of California to take over some things, like maybe even issuing passports for their residents when they need to, because when the government shuts down like this, it's so disruptive to individual citizens wanting to, travel and do things. I see some states wanting to, and quite demanding, the ability to make those individual choices from their own budgets in terms of things that the federal government was doing. I don't it feels like it's gonna take a little while for that to start to move into play, but I definitely see that happening where some states will be issuing their own passports. I don't mean like a passport issued for the state of California, but like a US passport office happening in that state and being paid for and funded by that state so that it happens for sure no matter what happens with the federal government. I'm seeing that some of those things happening. Okay. I had a bunch of random things on my list today, so you guys just humor me here. Um, yeah, the thing I was talking about with the Epstein files and also the financial disclosures that I see coming, the next scandal, which I feel like is going to come out possibly in larger amounts before the midterm, because I feel like both sides kind of think the other side's going to get them with this information, and it doesn't make either side look good. I'll be honest on that. I know some people are seeing that the midterm is gonna be, all the Democrats are gonna win. I'm absolutely not seeing that, you guys. I think it is still gonna be pretty tight. I think that a lot of Democrats would agree that the Democrats don't have as good of a story as the Republicans do. They could hire a better team of people to craft a better story. Um, Feel free to disagree with me, but I'm just saying that "We're Not Trump" is not a good enough, a compelling enough story. And I think that is part of the problem that the Democrats have had. And they're also not appealing to young people. But you guys already know what the problems are. You can list them in the comments what you think they are. But I do feel like it's going to be pretty tight. I think the redistricting, which I do see happening in the state of California, is going to make an important contribution, and then other states will follow too. I don't know if the other states following will impact this midterm or not, but I do see that other states doing the same thing. You know, it's the whole like, if you're going to play that game, then we'll play that game. It's not necessarily good, but I do see it costing money, costing a lot of money, and states doing it. You guys, um, as we talked about, I think on Friday quite a bit, as the Trump administration starts to wind down, and I am seeing it, he's very, he does appear to be very sick. Um, I do think that Vance wants to come in sooner than Trump would want him to, and I do see him leaving on health reasons, uh, very much alive. That's what I've been shown, and then leaving, later. I do feel like Vance is going to keep some of the cabinet, but not all. It's very clear that he doesn't like a few people. He really doesn't like Hegseth. He really doesn't. I think Hegseth is one of the first ones to go. And also some of the changes that he's made have made a lot of really important people in the military angry, and they know, like, Vance knows he needs to make friends with the military. These people need to be paid, and he needs them to keep order in the court, basically. Okay, you guys. So the rats are going to start to flee the ship, is what I'm saying. Um, One thing I did see, and I mentioned this on the Friday show too, but I don't know how this is possible, but I was seeing Bondi going to jail, you guys, for contempt of court and also for treason. But I don't see how, because I feel like Trump would just pardon her, or even Vance would pardon her. But the Friday guest and I had a little discussion about that, and she feels like that he won't. I don't know. I was definitely seeing Bondi in big trouble. Um, and I think that the issue with the Hatch Act is going to be a bigger issue, particularly with Kristi Noem telling all of the, I don't know if you guys have heard of this. It was kind of funny, actually. It was kind of funny. So Christy Noem made a new video. If you guys have been to airport, you know that as you're waiting in line for TSA, Christy Noem comes on and talks a bit about Real ID, I think was what it was last time I was there. She made a new video that she sent to all the airports that she wanted them to show that said that basically that the Democrats were, I haven't seen the video. Democrats were responsible for the government shutdown, and which is a violation of the Hatch Act, right? Allegedly. Yeah, it kind of looks like it though. I'm not a lawyer. Don't listen to me. Anyway, a lot of airports are not showing it, and she's a little mad. I do feel like there will be some discussion of Hatch Act violations, but it's like it's so pervasive through the government right now, blaming the Democrats for the shutdown, that I don't know that there'll be able to really be any real punishment for that. But I am seeing there being a decent blowback on this, because it's like if they're allowed to say that, how come we're not allowed to say that, right? Both sides, if we're going to just ignore the Hatch Act that says you can't politicize, government messages, then we should all be allowed to do that, right? I'm seeing some blowback. So let's go to the question I know that you guys are probably the most concerned about, which is the Middle East peace initiative. It does look like it's going to be an uneasy peace for a bit. And I have said this before, I never really see it being truly peaceful there, at least not in my lifetime. It always seems like there will be some kind of a conflict. There's too much water under the bridge there. But in terms of, pew pews, I think that's at least stopped and paused. It does feel like there's going to be a couple of little incidents that happen but are quickly put down. And I do feel like, at least for the time being, and maybe even the next few years as they start to rebuild, I do see a more comfortable peace. I think it's gonna be years before tourists start to come back to Israel. But I do feel like this one's gonna hold, at least mostly. There's gonna be some incidents. I do feel like there's gonna be some incidents. I feel like there always is when it comes to Israel, but the Middle East. But I do see this one is gonna hold. And I have said this, and I'm gonna stand by it. I do see Netanyahu no longer being in power. I feel like he's gonna be done fairly soon. Um, I don't know if he is voted out, or if he resigns, or if it's part of the peace deal, but I do see him no longer in power fairly soon. I want to say the first part of 2026, but I'm not 100% sure. Okay. Yeah, timing is tough. I don't know on that one. Um, but I will say that for most part, you guys are watching these things on TV, and you're doing lots of hopes and prayers for that Middle East, which I think is wonderful. Just know that you can't get too caught up in what's going on over there. It's easy to feel sad, and to let that rule how you feel about life. But I want you to instead, step outside and see your own life, and see what's going on with you, because each one of you guys, and I've been getting this intuitively, especially in my reading clients, a lot of people are getting little disclosures right now. You may be finding out that you've got sleep apnea. You may be finding out that you've got high cholesterol. You may be finding out that your kid's school tuition is going to go up, way up next year. You're not sure you can afford it, or your landlord's selling your house, right? I want you to, instead of looking at this and being upset, look at how this can be good. What can I gain from this? Okay, maybe I do need to drop some LBs. Maybe I do need to make some changes to my diet. Maybe I do need to look around, and this might be an opportunity to get a house that's cheaper. I'm just saying, look at the kind of rough stuff that's happening, because there has been for most of my clients. And honestly, when people book readings, it's not because things are going great, right? It's usually because something's up. But it's always like there's some like disclosure that's just happened, or that's happening. You want to look at, how can this benefit me in some way? Because in most cases, particularly what's happening in October right now for a lot of people, there is something good in it. But sometimes you got to find it. Sometimes you got to dig. And I guarantee you, for each of you guys watching this, there's some kind of a surprise disclosure. Could be a good thing. Maybe you inherited some money. I don't know. Some kind of surprise disclosure that's happening this week, and you get to decide how you want to respond to it. Speaking of money, Taylor, I might be saying her name wrong. Taylor Eaton. She's coming on tomorrow. And yeah, if assuming that she doesn't use the F word too many times in the thing, because that's what would happen, right? Because she would do it. It'll be up tomorrow. But I'm looking forward to it. She's coming on tomorrow, and I'm super excited. She does these wealth vibe, amazing wealth, creating wealth activations on her website or on her YouTube channel. You should check it out. Anyway, she'll be here tomorrow. We'll talk. But I do see a lot of, like I was saying, disclosures for you guys this week. Just look at it and try to figure out how I can make something good out of each one of these things coming, and send wonderful thoughts and prayers to the Middle East. And I'm happy for all of the shifts that are happening there. It does feel like something is changing. Okay, so let's pull some cards for the week. I'm going to do this live. I'm going to do it live. Gosh, I'd be embarrassed if it's like a card and I don't really know what it means. I'll just make it up, you guys. Oh, I wanted to show you something. Right? Because you guys are all watching. I grabbed this for you because I grabbed it by accident, but this is a deck of cards that has the meanings right on it. I don't know if you can see that. What's it called? Learning tarot cards. Okay. I'm not going to use it because I can't read them because I'm old. I'm older than you think I am. Thank God. Botox is such a wonderful thing. Okay. So this is cool. It's got like the meanings right on it. And if you turn it up, it has the reverse meanings. It also tells you if it's a yes card or a no card, which I think is really helpful because I don't know those. So anyway, I got this on Amazon for not that much, but I wanted you guys to see like what a learning tarot card thing. I'm not crazy about all the meanings they've put on the cards, but it's a good place to start if you guys want to start learning tarot. Anyway, learning tarot cards deck. And you'll see it. Okay, let's do it live. Let's pull some cards. You guys are going to have a great week. I can already tell. It's going to be a good week. Just allow yourself to see that, okay? Whatever's going on, it's going to be fine. It's going to be good. We've turned a corner. Things are really shifting. Okay, kind of giving and receiving, being generous, but also taking care of yourself. Be generous this week. I've always said it, you guys, if you can give to the food bank, give to the food bank, okay? Because they really need the money right now. They really do. Waiting for your ship to come in. Yeah, it's between two decisions though. Like you're trying to decide, should I do this or should I do that? For a lot of you guys, you may just need to wait for more information. If you're sitting and you're trying to decide, should I go this way or should I do that to take a job? Should I not take the job? Should I apply? Take a pause and figure out if more information is coming in or what the more information, because it does feel like you can see her, she's got blindfold on. She doesn't have all the information. And I feel like some of you guys don't either. Okay. This is taking a break. This is stepping away. This is stepping away from what no longer serves you. Yes. But stepping away is like a conscious pause. Like I'm just going to leave this. I can't decide right now. I'm going to set this aside for now and come back to it later. It'll still be here. Trust me. All of your challenges will still be here. Holding on to your personal power. So this week, it might be about kind of like with your resources, how can I use them in the right way? How do I save my coins, use them for the things that really matter? Be generous where you can be or where you should be, but also holding on to your power and just knowing that you're the most important part of your own world. Oh, I love this card. Queen of Pentacles. Planting some seeds. What is it that you want? What is it you want for the end of the year, you guys? Are you planning on a trip? Is there something you want to save up for a vacation that you want to take in November? Maybe not November, February or something? Plant some seeds because it's gonna sprout and bloom in the spring, but you want to do that now. Let's do this now. Okay. Resurrection. Something new coming in, something coming in. It's interesting because I pulled this card too. They were stuck together, but I wasn't sure about this one's overkill. Something has ended, and something new is coming in. And I think that's going to be true for a lot of you guys this week. I'm just going to pull one more. Okay. Victory card. This is a victory, but this is one of like a half victory. It's like we got the half marathon. We're going to celebrate, but there's still some more work to be done. And in a lot of people's cases, there's going to be some more work to be done. And so with that, I will leave you. I will see you again tomorrow. I love you guys. I appreciate all your support. Please like and subscribe. It means so much to me. It doesn't cost you anything. And I love you guys. You're so great. I'll see you again soon. Okay. Bye-bye. Bye. It's going to be good. I promise. It's going to be good. It's going to be good. Okay. Bye.